It's Thanksgiving weekend, okay? So many of us got to spend some time with family, okay? I got to spend some time with family and friends, and we actually went to our pastor's house. We got to be with Pastors Earl and Anika over Thanksgiving. Can I just tell you, we have some of the best pastors on the planet, okay? I really genuinely believe that. So before I get started, I just want to honor our pastors, Pastors Earl and Anika. Can we give a quick hand for them? Man, you know, Gabby and my wife and I, we were talking, this was last week, I believe, and we were talking about fatherhood, okay, because I'm a dad now, and she was like, it's really important that fathers have other fathers to look up to, so who do you look up to? And she was like looking at me, and I was like, oh man, okay, that got intense real quick. And I was like, oh, well, you know, I mean, I have my dad, you know, and our relationship has kind of gone in and out for sure. And I have my stepdad who has taught me so many things. But I was like, honestly, like in a day-to-day, I feel like that example for me would be Pastor Earl. He's that example for me. And I think both Pastors Earl and Anika are phenomenal communicators, okay? Like they're, I think, some of the best on the planet. But where they shine the most is at things like Thanksgiving dinners and basketball games and with their kids and loving each other, being husband and wife. So I'm just really, really grateful that we have pastors who get it right at church for sure, but who really get it right at home. And it's because of the way they love each other, and Pastor Earl as a father and as a husband. I know this is why I'm here at Shoreline City. I've actually been a part of Shoreline City for now 10 years, y'all, a decade. I've been a part of nothing for a decade, okay, but being a part of Shoreline City. And actually came 2000, it would have been beginning of 2012, so I take that back. It's been 11 months and 11 years and 10 months, okay? And I remember coming in and, I came late and I sat in the back row. You know, I knew how to play church, okay? And Pastor Earl caught me as I was leaving, okay? I was leaving during the closing prayer and Pastor Earl caught me and I've been coming ever since. Started playing the bass, okay? The complimenting bass, okay, because I get it. I love the bass, okay? I started playing the bass. I had long hair. At the time, it was in the man bun. Does anybody have a man bun? Anybody rocking the man bun? Y'all, I was rocking that man bun. Growing your hair out is a very difficult process, okay? You have like 36 minutes of good hair, and then it's like 3 weeks of bad hair, okay? Like, it's a tough process. So I kept that man bun as long as I possibly could. But I was single. And, then I met my wife, okay? My wife and I have been married for 7 years. Ayo. For those of you who don't know some of my story, and for 7 years, I mean, I'm ready. I wanted to make sure I got that right, because last night, my wife and I were going over today's message, and I said 6 years, and she looked at me again like, okay, better get that right on Sunday morning. I was like, okay, I got it right. No, I'm kidding, babe. But 7 years, and it's been the best. We actually have a baby boy now. We have a baby boy. He's a year and a half, okay? He's a year and a half, and being a parent is the absolute best, okay? The parents in the house, those online, y'all know you kind of feel crazy, but it's also the best thing you've ever done in your life, okay? If I would have known how good it was to be a parent, I would have had kids a lot sooner in life, okay? Being a parent is so much fun. We got to celebrate Thanksgiving as a family, okay? Now, there was this moment, dads, I feel like you'll understand this, okay? Gio, who's our son, his name's Giovanni, but we call him Gio, and he was climbing on this couch that was outside, okay? And he's like climbing on it, and whenever he's on the couch, you know, he's not quite old enough to really know what he's completely doing. So, you know, you're watching him and you're kind of like, oh, no, son, I want to give you space, but like, oh, you know, you're going to fall. You know, so you're just trying to be cool like all the other dads, but just you're scared the entire time as your kid's walking and crawling on this couch. And so Gio knows how to get down from a couch. He go legs first, but he decided to now go hands first. Okay, and I was just sitting back like a construction worker watching this all happen. And I was like, Gio, buddy, you're going hands first. You know how to do this. You got to go feet first. And he's like, his hands are kind of like wiggling, you know, as he's like, I can do this, Dad. And just, boom, face plants. Yo, I was laughing last night just thinking, his feet were just sticking up in the air. It was the cutest thing ever. And so, you know, then I'm like, I'll rush up and I pick him up and I'm like, okay, Gio, you know you're supposed to go feet first? And he's like looking at me and he's like, he didn't cry, though. He didn't cry, not to say he couldn't cry, okay? It's okay for men to cry, okay? Fellas, you can cry, but in that moment, he didn't cry, and I was just kind of looking. I was like, no, buddy, you're doing good. So then I started breaking out, well, let's figure out the problem, son. You know, because I heard that the way that NASA went to the moon was because they figured out one problem after another, you know, so I'm trying to raise up a world leader. And I was like, okay, son, let's figure Let's figure out the problem, son. Okay, so what did you do? How did that go wrong? You know, I know you're thinking right now, Eric, what are you doing? He's 1 year old. He doesn't know how to figure out the problem. Here's the reality. I don't know what I'm doing, okay? I'm doing my best. I set him back down. He eventually crawled back up on the couch, and he went down feet first, okay? So he learned the lesson. This entire story has nothing to do with the message today, okay? It has nothing to do with the message today, but that was my highlight of Thanksgiving, okay? Giovanni falling and getting back up and learning and doing it again, okay? That was my highlight. Okay, so 2021, here we are, the year 2021. The word for the year is increase. Increase. We do this as a church family, kind of every year there's a word that we kind of like are believing God for. And for this year, 2021, the word has been increase. And I just want to remind everybody here, increase and what we're believing for is not just a collective thing. We're not believing for increase just to happen in Shoreline City as a whole or as a church or as an organization. What we're actually believing is for that, yes, but we're also believing for increase for every single one of you individually. So if you're a part of Shoreline City or you're a first-time guest or you're joining us online right now, we're actually believing as a church that God has increase for you. And after all the things that happened from 2020, who's ready for some increase, okay? Like, who's ready to step into some things that are new? Well, let's jump into the Bible, y'all. Let's jump into the Bible. We're going to jump here in Acts chapter 3. Now, we're going to read some verses here. We're going to read 10 verses, so just hang with me. Y'all ready for this? Hang with me. Acts chapter 3, we're going to read verses 1 through 10. It says, one day Peter and John were going up to the temple at the time of prayer at 3 p.m. Now, a man who was lame from birth was being carried to the temple gate called Beautiful, where he was put every day to beg from those who were going into the temple courts. And when he saw Peter and John about to enter, he asked them for some money. And Peter looked straight at him, as did John. And then Peter said, look at us. Look at me. So the man gave him his attention, expecting to get something from them. Then Peter said, silver or gold I do not have, but what I have I do give to you. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, walk. Then, taking him by the right hand, he helped him up. And instantly the man's feet and ankles became strong. He jumped to his feet and began to walk. Then he went with them into the temple courts, walking and jumping and praising God. And when all the people saw him walking and praising God, they recognized him as the same man who had been sitting begging at the temple gate called Beautiful. And they were all filled with wonder and amazement with what happened to him. Here we have 10 verses, maybe 10 minutes in the moment of this man's life that changed everything. We get a sneak peek into this moment. Many of you have heard this story. If you go on to read the rest of Acts chapter 3, it goes on to talk even more about his life. But here we see this man who was begging. His occupation was a beggar. Lame from birth. He couldn't walk. Now, he had some friends. He had some friends that would take him. Now, I don't know if it was just maybe some of his crew, some friends that he had. Maybe it was family members. I'm not sure. Maybe it was his mom and his sister. I don't know exactly who it was. But we do know he had enough relationships that where every day someone would bring him to this moment and to this space and to the gate. He wasn't left there overnight, so he had enough community around him to carry him to the gate. And Peter and John are now walking up to this man, and they're like, they see him, and he just shakes his cup. And I love some of the stank that Peter and John had. They're like, hey, look at me. Look at me. You're a human. You're not a cup. Look at me. Look, I want to look in your eye. Look at me. And he looked at them, not because he was expecting something great or a miracle or maybe, I don't know, even maybe some of the reasons that he looked. I wonder what that moment of connection was actually like. But whenever he looked at him, Peter then says, hey, silver and gold, many of you know this, silver and gold I actually do not have. I wonder how disappointed the man was in the moment. Like in that small breath in the midst of a statement, I wonder how much disappointment was going through this man because his expectation was to receive some coin. To receive something. Then Peter goes on to say, but what I do have, I give it to you in the name of Jesus of Nazareth. Get up and walk. I want to tell you something. There is danger in low expectations. There is a danger in where are your expectations in this very moment? There is a danger in your expectations being low. And I want to remind you that God actually wants to do more than you could ever imagine. But where are your expectations on him? Because if your expectations stay low, what if God only meets your expectation? The man was begging for alms, and if it would have happened the way he wanted it to happen, as he was being set down by his friends and by his crew, if the day would have went how he would have went, he would have stayed on the ground, he would have got some coin, and then he would have been carried back. I wonder if maybe his body being paralyzed actually began to infect his faith. Did he now see God, the creator of heaven and earth, now as he sees himself? Lame, paralytic, can't move. I mean, if he did, that would explain why his expectations are so low in the moment. That would explain it. But I want to remind you, church, that God is the creator of heaven and earth. And as we're talking about increase, I'm praying that you would experience some increase in your faith. Maybe you've been let down and maybe you feel like, man, you know what? I actually kind of feel like in some areas of my life, maybe it's in my finances or maybe it's in relationships or maybe it's with my friends. There are some areas in my life where I feel like I'm lame. And you know what, Eric? If I was actually being honest with you right now, I would probably say my expectation is probably zero. Yeah, I think that maybe some of the situation of my life has crept in how I see God. And I really only see God as powerful as what I can actually do in my own strength. And I'm telling you, come on, Shoreline City, I'm praying that we would have an increase in our faith and expectation on what God can do. Because I'm telling you, God created heaven and earth with a word. I'm telling you, God fed 5,000 in just a moment. Here, this lame man got up and walked, and his life was changed in the blink of an eye. Where's your faith at? Where's your faith at? I want you to have an increase in faith. I want you to believe God for some crazy things, okay? I'm telling you right now, as a church family, we're about to believe God for some really, really crazy things, and I want your faith to be right there. I mean, what are some of the biggest prayers that you can actually pray? Can I tell you something? The institution maybe, or the practice, but it would be a better way to say it, of praying was actually not thought of by man. Can I tell you the practice of praying was actually thought of by God? This is actually some rules and systems that he set into place. He says, if you pray, I will hear from heaven. And I won't just hear, I will then act. He says, if you pray, I will hear from heaven and I will heal your land. There are so many times in Scripture, moment after moment, we see people praying and God doing something miraculous. But where are your expectations on God? Because I want our expectations, man. I want our expectations to be high. I want to expect, because in a moment, God can do some really, 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 really tricky, crazy things. And I think if we pull on his garment just a little bit more, I think if we have a certain expectation on him, I think he will actually meet us. He won't disappoint us. But I'm not just praying that you would have an increase in your faith. I'm praying that you would also have an increase in your fight. An increase in your fight. Here's this man who never walked. It wasn't like he walked as a kid and then something happened and he couldn't walk anymore. He actually doesn't know what it's like to walk. So now Peter and John are going to now pull him up. Can you imagine this moment in his mind? Here are these two people I don't even know, and they're telling me to get up and walk? I know I've been alone and I want friends, and here's two random people walking up to me in the lobby saying, hey, join my Connect group. What? And in the moment, this man had to get some fight inside of him, take some risk, some fight. Now, I'm not talking about like, pow, 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 Mike Tyson fight, okay? As a kid, I was a fighter as a kid, okay? You would not believe it, okay? And I couldn't fight now, okay? Like if we were to put on some gloves, Eddie, Jordan, y'all would just whip me real quick, okay? I can't fight now, but whenever I was a kid, I liked to fight. It was something I liked to do. Actually, there was this story, Thanksgiving. I think I was 7 years old. This was like Thanksgiving weekend, okay? I scheduled a fight. Did anybody ever schedule fights as a kid? Because it was going to be Thanksgiving week, so I knew we had like a couple days off of school. So on Tuesday, I was like, Danny, yo, meet me Thursday, 10 o'clock in the morning. It's me, it's you. No one's going to be around. I don't even care. You're going to get what's coming. You're going to get what's coming. Come on, Danny, let's go. This is a true story. I remember arguing. This is not good of me, but I remember arguing with my mom about going to fight Danny before we were going to go meet the rest of our family for Thanksgiving. How ridiculous is that? Mom, no, I gotta fight Danny. Listen, son, you're not going to fight him. First of all, fighting is not good. And then second of all, you can't go fight him. We have to go take this turkey and we have to go take this, she would like this broccoli casserole, and we gotta take it to our family. We cannot show up late for our family Thanksgiving dinner, lunch. Mom, if I don't go, Danny will call me a punk. I'll look like a punk in front of all my friends. He'll come back. I'll come back after Thanksgiving. Everybody will know I'm a punk. I got to show up. I got to fight Danny. She's like, okay, well, got to make it quick. I'm like, yeah. I meet Danny. We meet up. We meet up in this alley, and I'm like, yo, Danny, I can't fight. It's got to be a quick fight because I got to go to Thanksgiving dinner. Danny's like, hey, listen, you ain't getting out of this fight. We're fighting right now. I'm like, okay. Danny, come on. I don't want to fight you, but I got to fight you. I remember this. And I got him in a headlock, and we go, bah, bah, and I was getting him, bah, working on my abs. And he got out of the headlock and boom, clocked me. I was like, Danny, man. Hey, man. This is embarrassing, okay? And you know, whenever you're crying and your lip starts crying, Danny, hey, man, I said I didn't want to fight you, man. I got to go to Thanksgiving dinner now. And he was like, yeah. He was like, don't mess with me, boy. And I was like, that was a sucker shot. Anyways. That's not the kind of fighting I'm talking about here, okay? I'm talking about some fight on the inside of you. I'm talking about some grit on the inside. I'm praying that we would have an increase of fight on the inside of us. Here was this man, lame from birth, had to get up in front of everybody. The fear of failure, come on, I'm sure was very, very real. Does he even know what it looks like to stand up and walk? I mean, this guy has never done it. Can you imagine all the things that was going through his mind and through his heart at that moment? As he just stand up. But what if he wouldn't have? Like, it was available for him. But what if he didn't fight for it? What if he's just like, no, man, hey, like this is going to be a little bit too hard. Like, hey, hold on, like this is actually going to be a little bit too risky. Like, I actually, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm good. My friends will come and pick me up later. I don't need you to pick me up. But like, this was a moment in his life. So I want to ask you right now, online in the room, what are maybe some of the promises of God that you have? That you've heard, God has spoken to you, and you kind of just stopped fighting for it. You just, oh man, that sounds really good, God. Yeah, no, I do think I could start that business, but God, what if I fail, Lord? God, no, hey, no, I know, I feel like you called me to be a father, okay? I feel like you've called to be a father, but I'm so afraid to get married because all I've seen is failures, Lord. God, I don't even know these people, man. They're inviting me to their Connect group, man. I don't even know who these people are, okay? This is gonna be weird. I'm gonna show up. What if I'm at the wrong apartment? Like, that's awkward. Like, that's the stuff that you see, like, on, like, the neighborhood security videos where it's like this random person walked up to my door. Does anybody know who this person is? It's like, I was just trying to go to Connect group, okay? Like, people are calling the police on me now. I'm just trying to show up and just like, hi. God, what if I fail? What if I have nothing to say? And I'm just saying, come on, Shoreline City, can we get a little bit of increase of fight Can we not let these moments actually slip by? I want to actually pull not on the brawler in you, but the brawler in you to say, hey, God, you can do actually exceedingly abundantly. I know, Lord, my prayers are actually even too small for what you have for me, but God, I'm going to fight. I'm going to fight for what you have for me. I'm not going to let it go. I don't even really know what to do, God. I don't even know what it looks like to apply for this job. God, you said that I'm supposed to work for this company. I don't even know anybody on this company. But God, I'm going to go ahead and take those stands. God, hey, I don't even know what it's like to talk to a bank to get a loan to start this business. But God, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it shaky knees. This might be awkward. Okay, this dude's kind of pulling me up, and I don't even know what's happening now. But I'm going to do it. Come on, I just want to ignite some of the fight because this is what I feel like. I feel like life has just kind of pop, pop, pop. Mike Tyson, okay? If you can work in a Mike Tyson quote in a message, you're winning, okay? Mike Tyson, his interviews are crazy, okay? But one of my favorite Mike Tyson quotes is, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth. Come on, y'all, don't quit. Don't quit. Come on, you can get hit in the jaw and not quit. You can take a hit in life and just keep on going. I just kind of want to pull on some of the things to not let life stop you from what God has called you to do. What has he called you to do? Who has he called you to be? Don't let life or difficulties or doubt or fear, maybe doing something that you've never, ever done before, stop you from what God is calling you to do. You have more fight on the inside of you. You have more fight on the inside of you. Some would say that you can't argue against success. I would probably say, even better, you can't argue against the call of God on your life. What has God called you to? Fight for that. Fight for that. Fight for that. Wake up early. Fight for that. Stay up late. Fight for that. Make phone calls. You don't even know who they are. Call them. Go ahead and fill out that business report. Go ahead and fill out that resume. Fight for what God. Go ahead and what is it? Is it Tinder? Is it Tinder now? I'm married, y'all, so I don't even know what dating app. What are the dating apps here? Go ahead and make that account on Tinder. I don't even know. Is that awkward? Is it Tinder? No, it's not Tinder. Bumble. This is bad. Just got real awkward in here. And I'm just going to let it sit. I'm going to let it sit, y'all. It just got real awkward. I'm just going to let it sit. You know you don't get to go on a date if you don't ask anybody on a date, though. I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm not saying this to guys. I'm not saying this to girls. I'm just saying this, single people who want to go on dates, okay? You don't go on a date unless you ask somebody out. So I'm just, be a bit proactive in it, okay? Fight for that. Fight for that. Whenever we had Giovanni, okay, our son, the birth process, listen, moms in the house, I just want to say, moms, I have a whole new respect for you. Just give it up for your mamas. There was this moment whenever Gabby was pushing Gio out, and I have this photo, and I would show you, but it's inappropriate, so I can't, but there was this moment where Gabby was she was just giving it everything she's got, and I was like, oh my gosh, this woman's crazy. She's like a horse, just running into battle, there's all the things happening down there, and she's like, you! Mamas, y'all are built different, okay? Y'all are built different. But I remember having Gio, and this was 2 to 3 weeks into having Gio, and babies don't sleep for long periods, okay? It was 2 hours, if you're lucky, at a time, and you're just tired, you don't even know how to phrase sentences anymore, okay? It's just hard. It's the best, but it's really hard. It was really, really hard, okay? And she's healing and all this stuff, so it was my job in the middle of the night. I would get up, I would get Gio, I would change his diaper, and then I would, give him to her, and she would feed him. And I remember this moment, very specifically, where I felt like Gio doesn't need me. All I'm doing is getting up in the middle of the night, and I'm just handing my child to my wife because everything he needs is actually with Gabby. And that was a moment I'll never forget. I remember feeling not that I ever would, but I can understand why a man would leave their child right after having. Because this is hard. And like you feel helpless. And it's like you don't know what to do. You know, you're like trying to swaddle this baby, and it's like, are they too hot? Are they too cold? You know, like I don't know why they're crying. You know, like you just feel super, super helpless. I remember feeling that. But here's the reality, like nothing could actually be further from the truth. You know, like I was needed. And Giovanni, in that moment, even though I wasn't feeding him, needed me. And this is some of the things that I feel like some of us may be caught up in. You're holding the promises and the gift that God gave you. Whether that may be a relationship, maybe one day you were praying for a friend and now you have that friend, or maybe it's a spouse, or maybe it's a child, or maybe it's a home, or whatever it is. But like you have the promises that God gave you, but with just life, it's hard. And you've kind of just given up. And I just want to say, don't quit. Just don't quit. I don't know who necessarily this is for. I don't think this is for everybody per se, but I just want to say, dads in the room, online, don't quit. Like just keep showing up, okay? Just keep showing up. I'm just telling you, fathers in the house, just don't quit. You may not know the name of the principal, and you may not know the name of your child's doctor, but I guarantee you know how high you can push your daughter in a swing. And I guarantee you, fathers, you know what are the monsters that are under their bed. And I guarantee you, fathers, you know what is the superhero powers that your son has. I'm telling you, you are needed, and your courage and your fight and your strength is needed. Fathers in the house, don't quit. Moms, I'm telling you too, don't quit. You are needed. Your children need you. Your husband needs you. Your family needs you. I'm telling married couples, listen, here's something about marriage, okay? I don't know if people really talk about this, okay? But like you can be married and still quit your marriage. You know that, right? Like just because you're up here and you're like, yeah, we've been married for 7 years. But like it could be 5 of them and you've just been done. Like you're still married. I'm just saying, married couples, do not quit. Like continue to fight and serve and lay down your life. Don't quit. I'm telling you, single people, engaged people, dating people, I'm telling you, do not quit your purity. I'm telling you, it's valuable. And I know it may be hard, and you're standing in this promise, and it's so tempting, and this is like really hard to keep it pure because we're engaged, and in like 3 weeks, we're going to be married. What does it even matter? I'm telling you, it matters. Like, stay in it. Come on, you have some more fight on the inside of you. Don't quit. Don't quit, don't quit, don't quit, don't quit. So here we see this man. He had in a moment, in a couple verses, in a couple minutes of his life, he had to have an increase of faith. He had an increase of fight. But you know what else he had to have? An increase in his mindset. An increase in his mindset. This is one of the things that we, I think, so many times get caught up believing. We get caught up believing that we're just another face in the crowd. Like you actually, I can see this man sitting on the side of the road and next to the gate and feeling like every day nobody even really notices him. It's actually not, he actually is now starting to feel like it's not even really worth his time whenever someone walks by to actually look at them in the eyes because they're probably not even going to look at me in the eyes. I'm actually kind of just a little bit of a wallflower hiding in the background here. So I'll just kind of jingle my cup here and I'm kind of just another face in the crowd. I'm just another number on a paper. I'm not really someone that is seen, that is known. Hey, Eric, I get it. People see you, but people don't see me. We actually kind of like fall into this. I remember there was this moment with my wife and I. We were walking around this lake, and the lake was like beautiful, and we were going through a difficult season. I don't know why all my stories about difficult season. I know what 2020, y'all, 2020. No, I'm kidding. But and we were walking around this lake, and I was like, man, does God actually have more for me? You know, like, or is this like it? I remember feeling this, like, hey, maybe I'm just, I'm going to be a great husband, and I'm going to be a great father. I'm going to stick in this. Like, I love being a father. Being a father is, like, actually the best thing ever. Like, it is just every day, okay? It's kind of like Christmas. They're always just doing something new, okay? And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, okay? But it's always exciting, okay? That's for sure. And I remember just walking around and just kind of just lamenting to my wife, and my wife would just say, hey, I need you to know something. God sees. God sees. God sees you. God sees you. God sees you. God sees you. God knows you. He knows the purpose and the calling that he has in your life. God knows. And I was actually just kind of all I could hold on to in those moments. Like, hey, God sees you. He knows you. There was a mindset shift that actually had to happen. I wasn't just a number to God. I'm not just a random face in a room. I'm not just a person as you're coming here today who's just like walking in and out of the lobby. I'm telling you, we actually see you, okay? We see your eyes. We see your cool outfit. We see you walking in and out of this place. We see you, but there also needs to be a mindset shift. Because here's the thing, the man can now walk. He can now run. He can leap. He can do the shmeesh? Is that the new, I don't even know what that dance move is called. Okay. Sam told me there's a new cool dance. It's the orange, what is the orange justice from Fortnite? Okay, the man can do now all the cool dances, okay? He can salsa, okay, if he wants to. He can merengue. I feel like that's the easiest dance on the planet, okay? Like, he can do now all of the dances, but what sense would it make if he said, hey, homies, come and pick me up. The day's over. Hey, you know what? It's the next day now. It's Saturday. Hey guys, I need you to take me to the gate called Beautiful. I need you to take me to the gate called Beautiful. What? You're looking at me like, what? That makes no sense. The dude was just healed. Why would he be asking for his friends to now take him to the gate? But I actually feel like this is what we do. God does something miraculous in our lives, so we actually haven't had a shift in our mindset, and we just keep living life the exact same way we have lived day in and day out. And I'm telling you, I'm praying and believing that God would have an increase in our mindset, and that there'd be a shift in our mindset. Here was the reality. The issue is no longer with his legs. The issue is with his mind. Did he think he could do it? Was he going to walk? Here's some shifts that happened in that moment, okay? In that moment, this man went from being a beggar to now he's got to go find a job. He didn't need shoes before, and now he's got to go get some fresh kicks, okay? Like, he's going to have to go buy some shoes, okay? Before, it was actually everybody in the house was probably doing the dishes for him. But now he's got to stand up, walk over, and do the dishes his actual self, okay? He actually now has to walk and take himself from one place to the other. There's a mindset shift. So now, whenever he needs to go to the grocery store or wants to go to the temple, he's not calling some friends. He's actually standing up and walking himself. Whenever he gets tired of walking, nobody's going to carry him. He's got to keep walking for himself. There's a bit of a shift that has to happen whenever God does something miraculous for you. You've got to stand and carry and walk and talk. And I'm saying, come on, church family. We need to increase in our fight. We need to increase in our faith. We need to let a shift happen in our mindset, because I'm believing that God would take our dreams and the callings and the purpose and the destiny that has been on our life that's been lame, and he would bring healing and restoration, and we would just walk it out. He's now went from outcast to now he's a gatherer. I mean, can you just imagine all the implications and the changes that are now having to happen in his life? I mean, just everything changes. And I want to say to you, stop thinking that increase is for someone else. Stop thinking that increase is for the person to your left or to your right. I'm telling you, increase is for you. I'm telling you, increase is for you. It's not for others. So I'm telling you, connect groups, they're not just for others. I'm telling you, Growth Track is not for others. I'm telling you, making it on earth as it is in heaven is not for others. It's for you. I'm telling you, healing, it's not for others. Purpose, it's not for others. Calling, it's not for others. I'm telling you, it's for you. I'm telling you, mental health, it's not for others. I'm telling you, unity in your family, it's not for others. I'm telling you that business is not for someone else, it's for you. What are you believing God for? It's for you. There needs to be a shift in our minds. So God, I'm praying for every single person here. God, I'm praying that we would not stay back. I pray that we would not stay in the side. God, I'm asking that we would not see ourselves as someone lame on the side of the road anymore. But God, I am praying and declaring that in this moment, God, would our faith increase. Father, I'm praying that we would not have low expectations on who you are. But God, I am asking, God, would you do something in our minds, in our hearts, that we believe for you to do something miraculous. God, I am praying that our prayers would no longer be small. But God, I'm praying that we would pray radical prayers. God, I'm praying that we would have a new fight on the inside of us, a new grit to not quit. God, I'm praying that we would stand up and stand tall for everything that you have called us to do. And Lord, I'm asking that our mindsets would shift. God, I'm praying that we would no longer live our lives like a lame man when you have healed us. But God, I'm praying that we would walk, that we would leap, that we would run after everything you have called us for. Jesus, I'm praying that we would make it on earth as it is in heaven. So I do think I would be remiss if you're here today and you've never given your heart and life to Christ. I'm going to tell you that's your first step. I'm not asking you, do you come to church? I'm not asking you, do you have a Bible? What I'm asking is Jesus first in your life. And you're here today and you're saying, hey, you know what? The way I'm living my life right now, I would actually say he isn't first. But today I want to make that decision. I want to give you an opportunity to make that choice. So I'm going to ask you on the count of 3, if you want to surrender your life to Christ, to just shoot up your hand. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Lift up your hand saying, yep, I see your hands, I see your hands. Saying, hey, I want my life surrendered. I don't want to be lame. I don't want to be a bystander anymore. Jesus, I want my life surrendered to you. Church family, can we all put our hand over our heart? And can we repeat this prayer after me? Say, Dear Jesus, thank you for forgiving me all my sins. I admit I've made mistakes. And today, I give you my heart. I give you my life. Give me the power to live for you in Jesus' name. And everybody said amen. Come on, you can lift your hands. Let's clap our hands.
Team, I appreciate y'all tremendously. The way you're leading today, I'm incredibly proud of you. Church family, online, in the room, North, White Rock, I want to talk to you for a second about something incredibly important. Maybe you heard the news. Maybe you heard that Shoreline City is on the verge of getting a brand new home and headquarters. Yes, indeed. I'm so incredibly excited about this. Again, ignore my voice. I've been screaming and pumped up all week long. We had Orchid, we had the rally, and at the rally, we announced to our church family, we're on the verge of getting a brand new building. That's right, new home and headquarters. 150,000 square feet on 18 plus acres in Dallas, Texas. And we are about to serve and love the people of our community and our world in ways we've never been able to do. What we do every year is we take out some time and we have what we call our Heaven to Earth offering. This Heaven to Earth offering is where we go above and beyond in our giving. And we say, God, we're asking you to take all of our dollars, our pennies, our nickels, our thousands, our hundreds, our tens, our ones. We're asking you to use them for something significant and greater. So we shared with the church family at the rally that we're actually believing God from November until May 8th, actually, Mother's Day. We're believing for $10 million to come in. 10 million, church family. I'm not kidding. $10 million. Why that number? This is going to help us with our down payment, the first phase of our renovations. But we have a dream, actually, to go into this building debt-free. Excuse me. We have a dream to go into this building debt-free. And because we have a dream to go into this building debt-free, we're actually going to have some one-on-one conversations with other individuals that we're believing is going to give us another $10 million. But all this money is not actually just going towards the building. That's the big chunk of it because we're believing debt-free, all of that. We also are going to be, there are 3 categories. Kids, campus, care. The care piece is benevolence. We're going to set aside some money for benevolence. We're going to help with some disaster relief. The kids piece is we've got our beautiful kids in Kenya that we're going to be serving along with a special needs camp. We're going to help them put a brand new pool in for special needs kids all around the country that descend into Missouri and they need a new pool. So we're going to help make that happen. The campus piece, this is where we're going to be launching Guatemala City campus. Yes, indeed. We already have Antigua. We're going to be launching Guatemala City. But we also, the other campus piece, and I'm grabbing my middle finger here, but I've got all my fingers up. We are going to have a whole new home and headquarters here in Dallas, Texas. So this is where the funds will be going. I'm very, very excited about it. What I'm asking our whole church family to do is pray. Ask God the part you're supposed to play. And if we all play our part over these next number of months, we will see a miracle. We've said it. I'd rather be a water walking and sometimes sinking disciple rather than a disciple that ever gets out of the boat. So we're just gonna go ahead and believe God for the miraculous, and you have a part to play. After we announced this to the church family on a Sunday, last Sunday, our 11-year-old Grayson walked up to me and he gave me a $20 bill and 2 ones. He said, Dad, this is all the money I have, but I want to put this towards a new building. I almost started crying. It's not equal giving, but it's equal sacrifice. And if all of us will sacrifice for people we've never even met yet, and sacrifice to reach people, I'm telling you, we'll see a miracle. So church family, I'm looking to you. Online, North, Antigua, White Rock, new to the church, been here for years, does not matter. Every one of us have a part to play. I love you, I'm praying for you, and I'm believing God for miracles.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness.
Wow, so incredible.
I know. Can you believe that we get to be a part of what God is doing
So
in and
good.
through our church family?
Yes.
But before we get to that,
Yeah.
we are so excited about every single one of you who gave your heart to Christ today.
Yes.
We just want to acknowledge you. We want to celebrate you.
Y'all, heaven is literally rejoicing. They're throwing a party
Absolutely.
right now because of you.
Yes, we want you to text the message. Also, if that's you, text the message Jesus First to 97,000 so that we can know about it. So we can literally, every Wednesday, we actually pray over those names of everyone who gave their hearts to Christ. So we want to pray for you in this journey that you're going to be on because it's going to change your life. And actually, we want to challenge you, don't we?
This challenge, y'all. Give us 1 year.
Come on,
One
do
year
it.
where you are all in.
All in.
You're in a connect group.
Yep.
You're giving. You're going through Growth Track.
Yep.
And y'all, on the note of Growth Track, your next step is
Yes.
Growth Track.
So
Y'all,
clear.
Growth Track is the front door of our church.
Yep.
It's where you'll learn about the mission and the vision of Shoreline
Yep.
City, but also learn about how God has just uniquely designed
Yeah.
and created you. Y'all, we have it every single Wednesday,
Yep.
8 p.m. Central Time. We cannot wait to see you there, know your name, and
Come
know
on.
your story.
Yes, Growth Track has changed my life going
Changed
through
mine.
it. So make sure you jump on that journey, register online to be able to go. But another thing, like Pastor Earl had mentioned before, is our generosity. And actually, that's a huge part of our spiritual journey.
For sure.
Because it's a trust test.
Yeah.
It's us saying like, okay, God, I really do trust that
Yeah.
you're going to multiply everything that I've given
So good,
to
Lexi.
you. And so we want to encourage you to pray about the part that God has called you to play in
Yeah.
this heaven to earth offering. And also just with your tithes. You know,
Yeah.
every single time I get paid, I'm like,
10%.
okay, God, yep, that 10%, it's yours. I pray over it. And I'm like, God, you can do way more with it than I ever could.
Yeah.
So we just want to encourage you. We love you so much.
Love you so much, church family. We hope that you have the best week ever. Can't wait to see you soon.